mentioned your vocals. I was gonna ask you about the vocals because I found it I really liked it, and I also could tell that you'd kind of changed a bit your style or you'd been experimenting more. How was that? Because it sounds like quite challenging to get to that sound, if you know what I mean. I was gonna
It's
ask
very
you.
challenging. Listen to my voice. I have the deepest voice that you'll find on the music. I shouldn't be able to hit the notes I do. And in fact, whenever I'm like doing like a rehearsal with the band, again behind the Oz curtain, I have to take breaks. We'll do like one or two songs, and then the band will do the next song, which will be like say instrumental. Whilst it's good for us to do that and assess what they're doing, it also means I get to take a break because I'm constantly doing compression to get to a higher state of being. Now,
Mm,
if you look at say the Gods Hate Colossus, there's also a production value there that was very different from the one that we have on Notofearth. Aside from the last track, Goo, everything on this EP is that there's no real double tracked vocals. I think Green Card has some double track vocals as well, but it sounds more live because I'm not, for people who don't
mm.
know what double tracking is, I'm not singing the song and then singing it again to basically make sure that it sounds fuller. I'd rather it sounded like a live band that's got some weird shit going on in their head. And you're hearing it on stage. So you've got this kind of weird idea that it's like, I know it's a record, but it also sounds like it could fall apart any moment, which is why I love live music. It's like you're seeing something being constructed in front of you. Whereas the Gods Hate Colossus, it's a lot more studio conscious. Is that a word? Wording?
I know
It's
what you
happening
mean.
now. Yeah.
More like
Studio-ish.
poems, let's say.
Sorry?
As in this, when you mean more studio-like, as in it sounds more polished, I guess.
I guess there's the polish, but also the fact that people don't sound the way I sing on Sharp as a Knife. It's so warm. It's like those late 70s funk records. The way I'm singing that song in particular, it doesn't sound like it really fits into just rock, but that's what you get with double track vocals when I do them anyway. But
Yeah,
yeah, every track on the Gods Hate Colossus is double tracked, whereas it's less so on Not of Earth, particularly Fine Sky Night.
Yeah,
right.
and I think that was, that was a conscious decision. And I think it actually links back to something I wanted to add to what we were talking about before as well, with the differences between the process. Like John said, it was a lot more kind of studio based, where we're approaching it more like kind of, I don't know, mad scientists going like, oh, what if we, take this and put it here and turn it upside down, but kind of like and chopping and changing things and just all the studio kind of trickery. And like John said, it was a very conscious decision to try and do this in a more raw kind of form, to have an element of danger there, that it might just come off the tracks. We're not going to let it go off the tracks, but like you've got to, if you're on a roller coaster, you don't want like a safe roller. I mean, you want a safe roller coaster, but you don't want a roller coaster that feels safe. You want a roller
Exactly.
coaster that is safe, but it doesn't feel safe. It feels like, oh, this might be dangerous. And I think that's definitely something we wanted to go for. But just as an example of this, and actually I think it links to like I said, the previous question about the difference there, as well as moving into the future with what we're looking at. Maybe not quite connecting to the question of why didn't we mix them, but maybe hints there is that with the Mothership, which was the track that we recorded kind of from scratch for this EP.
Yeah.
We went in there and I think we did 2 takes, 3 takes. Like we just went in there knowing what we needed to do, and we just laid it down. There were no drop-ins, there were no overdubs, there was no anything. It was like, the engineer, Nathan, hit record, and what was there at the end of the 3 minutes, whatever, um, that's what's on there. And like that's what we wanted. We wanted it just to feel like, yeah, feel kind of just a little bit more real.
Yeah, I guess
Um,
it's more realistic that way because I don't know, being someone who's also recorded songs in the past is I feel like when you re-record and re-record, I feel like in the 10th take it's almost a completely different song. even though you sing the same melody and the same lyrics. So is that kind of what you meant with that?
Yeah, is it?
Sorry, I thought you were going to take that, John. Like, yeah, I do feel like the magic. I read Rick Rubin's book recently. I've been reading a lot of interviews with him, and I think he does talk about just kind of trying to catch the magic, and yeah, I think you can quite easily it's not even overthinking, it's like overfeeling, like, because it is a feeling that you're expressing, and kind of you can kind of oversaturate yourself by just doing it too many times. So yeah, I'm going to say yes. I don't know if
I
you'd
guess, yeah,
like
just
to add to that, John.
Let's see. I think that there's a philosophy running through not just the recording, but our presence on stage, where we're trying to be a lot less, and we mentioned it last time, a lot less rehearsed. Like, even though we do enough rehearsals, I think, for a show, we used to rehearse a lot more back in the day. And I think the results were less because we were becoming human jukeboxes. Now, we're a lot more free. Like, even now, like, I don't play guitar on stage. The last time I played guitar on stage for an audience was in 2014. And only until, what, a few weeks ago, we did like a live session for Bopflix, which are an amazing video, say, library of all these like different musicians, mostly kind of like rock and roll stuff, where we were going to have what we normally have live, but a guitarist basically wasn't able to make it, so I had to play guitar again. And in doing so, I realized again just how it can be a very, not static, but like I'm having to really think about what I'm doing and go into a production mode rather than me running around the stage with 2 microphones, which is what you'll really see when you come and see it. So if you're thinking about any kind of comparisons that we would make, our live output and personality, I think, is quite distinct from what's on record. And what we'll be doing in June is the scoop that you may be looking for. What we'll be doing in June is taking the musicians that have been playing it live into the studio, and that will be for our next recorded project. Yeah.